Miami Beach during spring break was electric. Music filled the air, neon glowed on the sand, and laughter stretched into the waves. At the Sandy Shores Hotel, 5 college friends, Chris, Noah, Ethan, Ava, and Mia, had arrived to forget midterms and soak in freedom. They weren't just partygoers, they were family, tight-knit, trusted, and inseparable. Or so they thought. The first 2 days blurred in a haze of cocktails, poolside dares, and beach bonfires. Then, Ethan vanished. They joked at first. Maybe he ran off with someone. Maybe he passed out in another room. But hours turned into a day, and his phone went straight to voicemail. His last location pinged at a beachside bar called the Wave Rider. Then Ava went missing too. Panic crept in, cold and quiet. Mia kept calling Ava's phone. Chris tried to track Ethan's location again. Noah stared at the sea, his stomach twisted in knots. The Wave Rider came up again. Both Ethan and Ava had been there the night they disappeared. The police shrugged it off. Spring breakers disappear all the time, they said. But Detective Elena Morales knew better. Something felt off. Too clean, too quiet. As she dug in, a disturbing thread unraveled. Each missing person had received the same anonymous text, an invite to an exclusive party, not advertised anywhere, a party that didn't officially exist. Elena found whispers of something far darker than spring break mischief, an underground game streamed live on the dark web. Real people, real stakes. Anonymous viewers paid to watch it all play out from the safety of their screens. And these students? They were the main event. The game took place on a remote beach. One local swore was cursed. The parties were a cover, setups designed to lure in thrill seekers, then trap them in a sick show that disappeared by sunrise, leaving no trace. The final night arrived. Chris, Mia, and Noah, now too deep to walk away, went looking for answers. But instead, they walked into the trap. Cameras watched from the trees, drones hovered overhead, floodlights burst to life, and a voice crackled through hidden speakers. The game had begun. Panic turned to chaos. Paths were rigged, exits sealed. Chris screamed Mia's name as she was dragged into the dark. One by one, they fell, but Noah ran. Heart pounding, body bleeding, he ran harder than he ever had. Through razor grass and shallow waves, past the cameras and into the city. He didn't stop until he saw headlights and heard honking. He made it, but survival came with a price. Breathless and alone, he reached the safety of the city, his mind a whirlwind of terror and relief. Yet, as dawn broke over Miami Beach, the weight of suspicion shifted toward him, the sole escapee, now haunted by whispers of blame and the unspeakable horrors he had fled. The truth of the dark game remained shrouded in shadows, a tale too twisted for the light of day, leaving him to wander a world forever changed by the nightmarish echoes of that fateful spring break. The apartment on Ocean Drive looked like it had once been loved. Its sea-blanched shutters hung crooked, its balcony railing rusted in soft streaks. The tiles beneath bare feet were uneven, worn in places where years of lives had passed through. For Emma and Jake, it offered something quieter than the polished, modern rentals around it, something that felt like a secret, a chance to reset the parts of themselves that had been quietly drifting apart. Their arrival was met with stillness, not peaceful, but tense, like a breath held too long. They had grown used to ignoring quiet tension in themselves and in each other. The first 2 nights passed beneath ceiling fans that clicked like countdowns, beneath linen sheets that never quite warmed. Then the disturbances began. Drawers left closed appeared ajar. A hallway clock ticked faster at night. The mirror above the bathroom sink fogged in dry air. No loud bangs, no slamming doors. Only subtle violations that made the familiar feel foreign. Nothing that could be proven, only felt. They didn't speak of it. Jake stayed in his headphones longer. Emma stood by the windows longer. Sleep became shallow. The air grew heavier, like something unsaid hanging thick between them. Trust began to fray, not from betrayal, but from unease, quiet, invasive. The story came in pieces. A crumpled pamphlet from a local tour left in the mailbox. Clara, a young woman who had died in the apartment decades ago. Betrayed, they said, by someone she loved. Some believed it was a suicide. Others whispered it wasn't. Her name wasn't in headlines, just a faded footnote of the building's past. From that moment, something shifted. The apartment no longer felt empty. Shadows lingered. Time moved unevenly. Emma began watching Jake's face when he wasn't looking. Jake moved like someone being watched. Small gestures turned suspicious. Silence turned suffocating. By the fifth night, they had stopped touching, not by decision, but by invisible force. The apartment didn't haunt. It copied. It didn't scream. It breathed. It mimicked old pain and fed on new doubt. Something inside it understood sorrow intimately and knew how to pass it on. The final morning arrived without ceremony. The sheets on the bed were smooth. The wine glasses in the kitchen were clean, but the mirror in the bedroom had shattered inward, as if something had pulled from the other side. Emma and Jake were gone. No note, no packed bags, no signs of violence. Their names remained on the lease. Their photos remained on the apartment's auto backup. The last image, time-stamped at 2:11 a.m., showed only darkness, except for the faint reflection of two blurred figures facing the broken mirror. The apartment was cleaned, relisted, rent reduced. New tenants came and went, some staying only a week, others leaving without explanation. No reports of strange noises, no flickering lights. But one thing never changed. A stain formed on the ceiling above the bed. Faint at first, but growing darker each week. Salt-ringed, human-shaped, as if someone had laid there too long and seeped into the plaster. No painter could cover it, no worker could scrub it away. Beneath it, the bed remained untouched. Sheets never wrinkled. 2 pillow dents, perfectly preserved. No voices ever came from the room. No figures ever walked the hall. Only the feeling that someone was waiting. Not for forgiveness. Not for revenge. Just for someone to stay. If these stories left you unsettled, like, share, and subscribe for more haunting tales that blur reality and fear.